Okay, can you hear me? Hello, welcome to the boss. Yes. We're gonna have an incredible time. An incredible time. And the music is so powerful because it will help us call in the energies we want. Okay. Let me read you something to get us started, to call in the Boss Matriarch, to lean into it. Because if you grew up in a household where your mom or other women around you didn't model this archetype, I'm gonna do my best today in this short live to maybe even read your energy. If you guys can stay live, I can do some energy reading that I would be really honored to do, to bring forth some messages. But otherwise, we're going to do some light work. We're going to connect to the light. We're going to clear. We're going to channel. We're going to just call in this presence, this powerful matriarch energy that is so needed on this planet. It's so needed on this planet for the legacy you want to leave, for the creativity that you have through your business. So I'm going to read this to you. And as I read this to you, it would be really amazing if you thought of the boss as the glass jar in this bottle, for the flower, for the vase, okay? The boss energy holds the creativity together. Without the glass jar, you don't have the flowers and the beauty held in anything. They'd be a puddle on the floor and they'd already be dead by now because I've had them for a few days. Okay. The glass jar represents the boundaries. It represents your pricing. It represents what you're willing to do and tolerate. It represents so much about your energy, and it's almost unspoken. You walk into a room as either the boss or the other archetypes. There's many more, and I'll go through them today. But depending on which one you tap into the most, depending on the one you're most comfortable cellularly tapping into, is the one that's going to be most dominant. And the boss makes the money. She's the one who embodies the frequency of I got this. She's very calm, and honestly, inside my business, when I'm in the boss, I feel so safe. I relax more, I lean back more. And I remember I experienced that with my mom. So my mom was a business owner from the moment I was born till very late, much later in life. And I felt safe being around a boss mom. She drove her car like a boss. She walked like a boss. She walked into rooms full of men like a boss. And she was like, I know what I want and I'm gonna get it. And it wasn't baby goddess. It wasn't sorry, because I'm listening to this at the same time. Hey Jen, hello. Yeah, so okay, we're good. I had to bring the volume down. We have ways of carrying ourselves that lead to manifestations, instant manifestations. So just think of that as I read you the poem. It is about having a container to hold your creativity. It's having a container to hold your standards. It's having a container to completely eradicate procrastination. So I'm going to play an audio for you, and I'm going to read you a poem, and we're going to listen to a couple audios, and then we're going to go into the work. We're going to make it short and sweet and powerful, because this is just a calibration. It's just an inkling. It's just a leaning into this energy. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to start with the poem. And I know people are busy and they'll watch the replay. Okay. Let me know if you can hear me okay as I read this. I think it's fine. To my sisters, the boss is here. I do it now. and I get paid forever. The content I create, what I create from love and with love and for love, has the ripple effect throughout time. So I create now, but I get paid forever. Not from force, but from sacred endeavor. I plant with love. I trust the field. I know that what's mine cannot be sealed. I move like I'm 10 days from gold. A 10K day, bright, fierce, and bold. I don't hustle, I decide. I don't chase, I align with pride. No more waiting, no more freeze. I follow through with holy ease. My boss is loaded, my boundaries clear. I walk like the woman who's already here. So if you feel her rising too, know the boss matriarch lives in you. Decide, declare, begin again. The legacy starts from within. If you grew up in the 80s and 90s like I did, or even before that, I want you to think of an archetypal sort of history and legacy that is still rampant today. So when I go to Disneyland with my son and my sister and her kids, I noticed last year that all rides, all attractions were male heroes. And what bothers me about that is I saw firsthand the impact that having a male-dominated consciousness caused on my mom when my dad died when I was 10 years old. And even though my mom was the boss, even though she had been a very successful woman in Paris, even though she had her own business, the fact that she was psychologically wired to make the man the plan devastated her. And I was just on the phone with a sister who shared with me the story of her son's dad and how she found out he had been cheating on her. And she said, it crushed my soul. I let her say it a few times. I was like, fine, she can say it 2-3 times. And I had to tell her, I said, listen, we're going to have to stop saying that. If you want to be the boss, if you want to be the woman who walks into rooms and decides her income, she decides she's 10 days away from a 10K day. She decides it in her core, in her soul. It's a decision, it's an imprint, it's a clear cognizance, it's a choice she's made so deeply in her bones. It's an of course. There's no wavering, there's no wobbliness. So when you channel your boss matriarch, you're not wobbly, you're so clean, you're so clear. We can't be saying he crushed my soul when he cheated on me. No, that can't happen. What you need to be saying is the man's not the plan, I'm the plan. The man is not the plan, I'm the plan. Why is that? I'm the plan because my frequency attracts. I'm the plan because what I visualize, I attract. I'm the plan because what I journal about, I manifest. I'm the plan. I'm the plan because even if I am married to someone who makes 10 times more money than me, I'm his plan. Hopefully you're his plan. Hopefully you get with somebody for whom you bring so much meaning that when you walk into the room and he's like, oh my God, my goddess is here. Because that's another archetype. The goddess brings meaning to the rooms she walks in. You know, the way you carry yourself, the way you wear that dress, the way you put on your makeup, the way you're at dinner, you bring meaning to life. You give meaning to the prosperity. Does that make sense? How come I can't? Okay. So we as women, we're the flowers, you know, just to speak gender or just to speak roles, like when we're in our feminine energy, we're those flowers, we flow, we create. But guess what? If you don't have a boss to hold your creativity, it's all over the place. It's like you feel like you have ADHD, you can't focus because you didn't install the boss. The boss is going to hold your creativity. It's going to have a plan. It's going to see things through. It's going to know what to say. Like when I'm in my boss, you guys, I write things so much faster. I post so much faster. There's no hesitation. There's no fear of being enough. The boss is like, she's just clean in her energy. She's clean in her devotion. She's clean in her legacy. She's clean in where she's going. She's got such a long-term vision. She plants seeds today forever. She loves her work. So the thing about the boss is it's very much about being in giving energy, but also in receiving ship. It's the balance. So when I was talking to my friend earlier about, he crushed my soul, and I said, listen, you're going to have to start being in the energy of the men's, not the plan. And I started sharing this movement like a couple years ago when I was making the men the plan. And the lesson I extracted from my last breakup with that guy was, I'm making the man the plan. What the F? We're going to be done here. I am the plan. I'm the one who decides. I'm the one who sees things through. I'm the one who calls things in. I'm the one who journals and allows things to manifest. I'm the only one who can change my subconscious limiting beliefs about the fact that I don't know how, I'm not worthy, or I'm not enough. So I recently, so last summer, my son moved back with his dad for a few months. And then I was very intuitively guided to start dating, which was not on my vision board. I was like, no way, I'm like going to take some time for me. But I was told, you need to start dating, get on the apps, which I had never really been on before. And I knew deep down that I was like going to date a very different way this time. And I'm now engaged, which is crazy because that was not the plan. But the reason that it is working out, it's because I held my power. So I haven't shared this online with anyone, but I'm going to share it with you guys now because I think it's so important. Because when I'll call her Sarah this morning told me, he crushed my soul when he cheated on me. It's like, yeah, but if you knew from the get-go that he's not the plan. It's not the plan, I'm the plan. You would have manifested a very different grieving period. You still grieve, it's still debilitating, it's still disappointing, but it's like, move on because you're the boss, And I decided when I started dating last summer that there would be no exclusivity for the first 6 months. No exclusivity for the first 6 months, you guys. That's what I told them. And I owned it so powerfully that they were okay with it. I was dating 2 guys, JC and Oliver, and I told him, so when I met JC, we were exclusive for maybe a month because I just wasn't dating anyone else. But then when I met Oliver, I told Oliver I was non-exclusive for the first 6 months and I was dating JC. And then JC, I told him I met Oliver, and both were okay with it because I was so clean. They could take it or leave it. If they were like, no, that's not okay, I would have been like, okay, I'll just walk away. You're not the plan. And I think when we own our power this way and we know who we are and we know like, hey, this is how I am, this is how clean I'm gonna be. Okay, and the reason, let me give you guys context. I decided not to date exclusively the first 6 months because I can be so codependent that when I meet somebody too quickly and I am too attached too quickly, I lose myself, and then I'm not able to stay in my own energy. I'm not able to stay in my lane if it's too soon, too quick. So what happened before I dated that way, the guys I would date were like, oh, we're exclusive within 2 weeks. And I was such a pushover. I was so like, oh, okay, that I just was like completely lost. They would be calling me, where are you? What are you doing? And I've only been dating him for 2 weeks. And I had to somehow change lanes because I was so afraid of abandonment. I was so afraid of rejection. So I was like, okay, we're exclusive. When that just shut me down so much. I was so afraid that I would somehow do the wrong thing, say the wrong thing. So I owned my need to be non-exclusive for 6 months, and I highly recommend it. I had to remind Oliver when he came to LA that we were still non-exclusive. And it wasn't like I was dating anyone in LA. I didn't meet anybody in LA. I wasn't, sleeping around with anyone else, but I still needed to own it. I still needed to say it. So just think about that. There's ways you can give yourself permission. There's so many ways you can give yourself permission. And I think as women, again, like you go to Disneyland, 32 rides, it's all a male hero, and the only female ride or the only female attraction is Alice in Wonderland, and it's a labyrinth. It's like one of those places you get lost in, and there's crazy images in there, and then there's shape-shifting mirrors where you get thin, you get fat. Like that's the only female attraction at least Paris Disneyland. And I know with the Marvel movies, like some things are shifting, but still 99% are male hero attraction. So if you grew up in the 80s and 90s like I did, you are wired to still be like, oh, I'm not enough. I'm not the hero of my story. I need a man to be the hero of my story. to save me, to be there. And I think that's a beautiful way of being co-creative, like co-creating your legacy with someone who's there, who loves you as the goddess, who loves you as the feminine energy. But you got to watch for how that impacts your business if you want to have a legacy you're leaving for the sisters, for the daughters. Okay, so let me get into it a little bit more. And I'm going to play this audio. Okay, there's no such thing as procrastination. I don't believe in procrastination. Okay, I'm going to play you this audio. Let me know if this resonates. I feel so sensitive and like nervous sharing this work, and I don't know why, but it is what it is. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm gonna have to cut it off at some point, but I feel like I'm screaming. Am I screaming? Okay, let me share the audio. Is this gonna work? I think this is gonna work. These were my thoughts a few months ago. In the spirit of being about it instead of talking about it, I know that there's no such thing as procrastination. What there is a giving up of your power. For a badass, for every badass, we need to have a boss. You can't have badass, get it done energy if you don't have it installed, if you don't have a boss. And who are you giving away your power to? Who are you delegating your decisions to? And why? Usually for women, it's heart-based. You want someone's approval. You think you won't have approval if you make too much money. You think you'll lose love and approval if you're not a good girl. And in order to have badass energy, you need a boss. And in order to have standards, minimum financial standards, you need to have the boss come in and decide. The boss needs to come in and decide, which is what happened for me this week. So with the boss, you have structure, you have fast decision making, you have boundaries, and you have standards. Without the boss, you're just lost in chaos. So why did I do? Yeah, okay. Do you guys hear that? We make the mistake of going into badass, let's get it done energy. And it's frantic and it's all over the place, and that's just the badass. That's not the boss. The boss is more about pondering, thinking, visualizing, seeing things through, and delegating and having a vision and planning and having this sense of bigness about you and tallness. And we are not lost in this sense of approval seeking as much. Okay, when we want approval, we go into the badass, we go into the maid. And the maid is overgiving. The maid archetype is, let me help, let me do this, let me just over deliver. Let me undercharge and over deliver because I'm not worthy. But money has nothing to do with your worth. If you can try to think like, and this we're going to do so there's a 3-day masterclass where it's going to be us on Zoom. We are going to have a WhatsApp support. We're going to start to just give you more worksheets and downloads and audios and things to move through this. But think about the wiring and how it's gotten set up. You know, we grew up maybe in homes where you were told, hey, if you clean your room, you'll get $5, or do your homework and then you'll get this, or do this and then you can get that. So we associated and linked up reward with doing, which makes us want to do the badass. We were never taught, like, you know, why don't you contemplate your plan? Why don't you plan your week? We were never given agency to be like, well, let's reward your planning and thinking things through. Let's reward you embodying the boss. No, we were rewarded when we were the maid, when we cleaned our room, when we helped mommy and daddy, when we did good, when we were a good girl. We were rewarded for good girl behavior. So there's a rewiring that has to happen to be the woman who decides and who's not in frantic badass all the time, because that makes you like trying to think and trying to create, and you're just in that hustle energy and it's frantic and you don't feel like you have any focus. And so your ideas come, they're the flowers, but because there's nothing to hold it inside a context of a vision and a legacy and a plan, then it just gets all over the place. Okay. So we got to rewire and give you a sense of like, oh, wait a minute. Let me reward myself for when I actually plan things and use that cognitive function of my brain. Now, if you've ever had trauma, which I did, I grew up with over 20 years of trauma in my life, or 18 years of trauma. I had to rewire, and thank God for neuroplasticity, but I also do this for my clients, is we really go in there and we help your brain use back your prefrontal cortex, which is the best decision maker. It's the one who's going to see things through. It's the one who's going to plan, and you're not going to lose your goddess. You're going to still have the goddess who adds meaning to life. I am engaged with Oliver because he's asked me twice to marry him, and the reason I said yes, and I'm still going to be the plan, right? But it's because he allowed me to be in this space of, listen, there's no exclusivity for 6 months, and he completely accepted it. And he was like, listen, and I told him, I said, you can look at the glasses half empty, which means we're not going to have a life together. Like, if you're not okay with it, the glass is half empty and you leave, and that's that. Or you see it as half full, and you take me as I am, and this is who I am, and this is what I'm about, and you take me as I am. And he's like, he had to think about it for one evening, and then the next day he's like, okay, let's do it. And what's insane, you guys, is when we went to visit the school where Hayden might go, I was talking to all the kids there, the 16 and 17-year-olds, because I'm like, we went during school time and I wanted to know how the school felt. And I'm like, let me check things out, because Hayden was still in Vegas and I was in Belgium with Oliver last February. And as I go around, I'm talking to all the kids and I'm playing basketball with them, and I'm like just blending in. I'm like, hey, what do you guys think about the school? And one teenager goes up to me, goes, well, listen, in French, he goes, well, some things are good, some things are bad. You can either see the glass is half full or half empty. I'm like, they're like, Oliver, did you hear this? Did you hear him? And he's like, yeah, I heard him. So I have been exclusive since we've been together for 6 months now, more than 6 months. But I was my choice, you guys. I decided it, and that's the big difference between when a man decides to make you his plan and then sort of tries to be clingy about it, and you don't own your power. Okay. So this is not a call about dating, but I thought it was interesting to mention that, because I know a lot of women struggle with that. So for Sarah, who I was talking to this morning, if she had like these codes of the man's not the plan, I'm the plan, I'm going to make things happen through my softness, through my heart, through my desire to leave a legacy behind, through who I'm going to be, then the guy cheats. All right, it's another Tuesday, move on. It hurts, you grieve, you move on. Like, things are going to get better. You learn the lesson, it's traumatic, you do the work, you move on, you rewire your programming, you move on. It's not a debilitating, that crushed my soul. No, like, I let her say it 3 or 4 times, and I was like, listen, we're going to stop saying that. It happens. It was real. We're done. We're done here. So we got, because she needs to move on. She has to, operation separation is what I call it, then we go into operation separation, which is like, okay, what do I got to do to move on from this situation? And so the man's not the plan, operation separation. And there's another one that I say to help women. I forgot what it was, but it will come back. Oh, the 3 jars. Take your jars back from them. Whenever anyone crushes you, it's because you give them your jars. And I was talking to someone yesterday on one of my calls, and she said, but I feel like my dad has my boss jar. He has my boss jar. And I said, yeah, but he's the boss in your family. He's the dad, he's the boss, but inside your own life, you get to be the boss, So that's what we're going to work on in the 3-day masterclass. You get to be the boss. So let me give you one last calibration. This is an audio I recorded, and some of it may apply, some of it may not, but I just want you to take it in and listen, because you're going to post differently when you listen to this. You're going to post as if everyone is waiting for you to show up online. Like I said earlier, when the boss shows up, she's so different. She does the work from a place of love. She wants to give. She wants to be of service. She wants to create something incredible. And she doesn't care if she gets paid now or later. She knows it has a compound effect over time. So let me know in the comments when you're watching this, like, how often Do you share your work online from a place of like, no one cares, no one's watching this, the algorithm isn't even showing my video, I'm never gonna make any money, and you're in your Eeyore, like, so hard, like that inner critic, that inner defeatist, like inner doubter, like, bleh, or are you in your like opposite of that? You pivot, you do 180. You're like, wait, if I wasn't in that frequency, where could I be? If I wasn't in my Eeyore, where could I be? If I wasn't believing these freaking lies because they don't feel good, so they're not the truth, where would I be? And then you look up the other way. You're like, you do a 180, you go, where could I be? How could I post? Well, what if I just do it for the one? What if I impact one life? What if one woman is changed through this? What if? So listen to the audio, it will come. Okay, I'm gonna play it for you guys. It's has music and it's just perfect. So, and then I gotta go. Yeah, and then I gotta go. So let me see. Where are you? Just when I need you, you've disappeared. Tenacity. Okay. Take it in.
I give now. I receive forever. Take a deep breath. Feel your body arrive. Feel Brussels holding you. Old world, powerful, sovereign. You are safe to be powerful here. You are safe to receive here. You are the boss, the sacred CEO, the one who trusts. I start my day in power. I move my body to move energy, kickboxing, walking, dancing. Every drop of sweat is a declaration. I'm worthy. I'm here. I am building my empire. I enter my day with calm. I enter my day with presence. I trust my body, my timing, my knowing. I don't rush. I lead. Before I act, I contemplate. I sit in my genius. I make incredible decisions that nourish me long-term, aligned, sustainable. I don't push, I don't beg, I magnetize. With my open heart center, I call everything in. And I deeply trust that the energy I put into my work is always coming back to me, multiplied, glorified, dripping in favor. I believe that what I give comes back. I believe people are finding me today. I believe someone is adding my program to their cart right now, taking out their credit card to pay for it. I believe there are more people ready to buy than I could ever count, that I could ever found. I believe in divine timing, not deadlines. I give now, I receive forever. My love creates income. My energy shapes realities. What I pour into my business is sacred. I'm not self-employed. I'm the visionary. I'm the founder. I'm the future. I see the magazine covers. I feel the praise. I taste the tears of gratitude from people I haven't even met yet. This business is my prayer. This business is my prophecy. I am the boss who balances divine receiving and bold action. I am the boss who holds space for the late buyer and the instant yes. I'm the boss who finishes strong, not with scramble, but with sovereignty. I contemplate, I plan, I speak, I serve. I am her, and she's already living this life. Let this day bring miracles. I am the one they've been praying for. I am the one they've been praying for. How would you post if you knew someone was already obsessed with your work and just waiting for your next offer to drop? How would you post if you knew your dream client screenshots everything you write and reads it in bed like scripture? How would you post if you knew your energy is the medicine someone else prays for daily? How would you post if you knew the money is on its way and your job is just to stay in the frequency of joy and receiving? How would you post if you knew that one reel could change your whole business? How would you post if you knew the money is already here, as long as you stay in the frequency of joy and service? How would you post if you knew your digital footprint is your legacy and someone finds it in 6 months and says yes to all of you? How would you post if you knew someone was reading it with their credit card already in hand? How would you post if you fully believe that everything you put out comes back multiplied, even the post you almost didn't publish? How would you post if you knew your voice was sacred, your timing was perfect, and your business was chosen by God? If you were just 10 days away from a $10,000 day, how would you speak today? How would you show up? Would you go live? Would you open that Facebook group? Would you give people dates and times to show up? Would you give people reminder emails and a new landing page to sign up? Would you put that Google Doc together at the coffee shop today? Would you just get it fucking done? If you knew $10,000 was landing in 10 days, would you still be overthinking that post or offer, or would you just drop it with power and walk away like a queen? If you were 10 days from a 10K day, how would you treat your ideas, your pricing, your energy, your voice? If you knew the 10K day was already yours, you'd stop auditioning for worthiness and start operating from ownership. What if the 10K is already yours and your only job now is to show up like someone it already belongs to? Your 10K day is coming, and when it arrives, you'll realize every post, every story, every moment of trust, it was all working. I move like I'm 10 days from a 10K day. I trust like it's already in the bank. I show up like the sale is done because in my field it is. I do it now and I get paid forever because I trust the way this works. I trust in my ability to give with love, with clarity, with power, and I trust in my ability to receive. Not because I do more, but because I am more, because every seed I plant with love, every offer I drop, every story I share, it lives beyond me. It lands when it's time, it multiplies. I don't chase, I become the frequency, and then I let the field do the rest. I give now, I get paid forever. I stopped linking receiving to doing. Now I link receiving to devotion, to planting, to love. I trust that every time I give with integrity, joy, and truth, the field takes care of the rest. I receive because I gave, period. This is not a lounge, this is a ripple. This is not just a post, it's a prayer, and I get paid accordingly. I get paid in real time, delayed time, and divine time. I plant seeds in faith and love, and the harvest always comes. I don't need to prove. I give, I shine, I trust. I receive for who I am, not just what I do. The value I create is eternal. My energy works even while I rest.
Breathe it in, take it in.
And so it is.
And so it is. Wow. It gets me every time. I literally listen to this every day. Let me give you a few more. Okay, I want to give you a few more calibrations with powerful music that I found, and just let me know what it does to your body, what it does to your desire to just give from this place of not needing anything in return. Let me know if the music's too loud. Are you guys hearing this music? It's so good. How would you post if you knew your voice was sacred, your timing was perfect, and your business was chosen by God? How would you post if you fully believe that everything you put out comes back multiplied, even the post you almost didn't publish? How would you post if you knew someone was reading it with their credit card already in hand? How would you post if you knew that one reel could change your whole business? How would you post if you knew your energy is the medicine someone else prays for daily? Epic, epic, epic. How would you post if you knew? Okay, let me read you a few more. I know you guys heard these already, but I just want to get it into your DNA. I don't think I've read these ones. I do it now, I get paid forever because I trust that the work works. I trust in my ability to give with love, with clarity, with power, and I trust in my ability to receive, not because I do more, but because I am more. Because every seed I plant with love, every offer I drop, every story I share, it lives beyond me. It lands when it's time, it multiplies. I don't chase the outcome, I become the frequency, and then I let the field do the rest. I feel like I'm jamming at a poetry jam night thing. I don't hustle to receive, I give in truth and I trust the return always. The post you write today, it could pay you next week or 2 years from now. That's the energy I'm in. I give now, I get paid forever. I stopped linking receiving to doing. It has nothing to do. Now I link receiving to devotion, to planting, to love. I trust that every time I give with integrity, joy, and truth, the field takes care of the rest. I receive because I gave, period. This is not just a launch, it's a ripple. This is not just a post, it's a prayer. And I get paid accordingly. So in an ideal world, your business is your devotion, your offers is your devotion. You're giving and giving and giving and giving from this place of like, oh my God, I get to be the flowers in someone's life. I get to be the spark, the meaning. I get to show up, right? And then because you have boundaries and standards, you have a bare financial minimum and maximum that you're willing to play in, that you're like, I will not go lower than this amount. I will not make less than this amount. This is ridiculous. And so separate from your business, you decide this is the amount of money I need because I need to go and have lunch at a 5-star hotel once a month, or I need to go on a 3-day vacation with my husband. These are the standards of the goddess and the boss. And those standards call in your financial well-being. I think we just rely so much on like, oh, I need to sell, I need to launch so I can make the money. And it's like this poor energy. It's this lack energy. It's this frantic energy instead of being like, let me give from this power and this boss and let me hold my creativity, let me hold my ideas, and then let it be pure without expectation. Like the recent photo shoot I had in Paris, me and Brittany can't stop talking about it because we're like, how did that even happen? Like it was so she's like, we just had so much fun, but I had no expectation. I had no need for the photos for anything. I wasn't like expecting to get something out of what I did. It was just what it was. It was just pure joy in the moment. Yeah. Instead of, oh, let me do the photo shoot because I need to lounge because I need the money. No. So we created something really, really fun and incredible. And it keeps having this ripple effect, you know? Okay. So sorry if I'm a little intense. I am in Aries and we are in Aries season at the moment. Just take it in and breathe. And if you can't take all of it, take some of it. You don't have to take everything. And your expression of the boss might come through completely differently. But I do want you to know that anytime you beat yourself up for procrastination, switch your mindset and think it's not procrastination. It's like a standard and boundary. You know, I call it, you know, your boundary to bullshit. You know, so when you're wobbly, when your Eeyore comes in and they're like, oh, no matter what you do, it's not going to work and none of it matters and you're not going to make the money, and you have this inner doubter, it's okay, name it, journal it out and name it, call it out. There's a saying in my sisterhood is that if you can name it, you can heal it. Archetypes and parts, when you name them, they're like, oh, you see me? You hear me? What? I've been bullying you for decades and now you see me? Like literally this is what happens. And Jen can probably testify to that. And thank you guys for your comments. I want this audio. Yeah, it is so good. So the audio is a gift I'm giving to the first 10 people who sign up for the 3-day masterclass happening this week. I'm gonna drop the link in the comments if you guys haven't seen it. I'm sure you've seen it. I've blown it up everywhere. So if it's only $100 for 3 days and you get so many audios and downloads and calibrations and 3 days with me and the WhatsApp group to really get you to at least start leaning into this work. The biggest mistake I see my clients when they come in is they're in the wrong archetype. They're trying to do work from the hustler. They're trying to do work from their maid. They're like, why is nothing selling? So the boss is the one who makes the money. The boss is the one who has standard. The boss is the one who's like on a discovery call, does not coach, does not sample her work. Please don't do that on discovery calls. We don't problem solve on discovery calls. We make a plan. So the boss is the one who shows up on sales call and has the plan for the woman. You're very compassionate. You listen to the problem. But yeah, Alex helped with my Eeyore. I know, it was so cute. I kept calling it out. Like we were on calls with Jen. I'm like, that's your Eeyore. Nothing ever works for me. It's never gonna work. So of course, you know, and you know, it's like baby goddess is like more like, you know, I don't like you. You're not buying my program. No one's buying. I don't like you very much. You're not nice to me. Like that's baby goddess. It's the wounded inner child who's like, I don't want to do a talk in front of 300 people. Yeah, well, guess what, inner child? You're not running my business. I am. Like you're not the one running my business, little girl. You're a child. You go play. I'm the one doing the talk. I'm the one sending the emails to 5,000 people on my mailing list. You're going to go for ice cream and you're going to go to the beach and we're done here. So I just want to say that because I sent an email about my mother who was the ultimate badass boss. Like she was the boss lady all the way. She walked into rooms, people stopped talking. She drove a black Mercedes and had a phone in her car in the 1980s. You know, like those corded big ass phones to call the office and get calls. Next level. And why did I start talking about my mom? So I don't know why. Now I'm on a complete different topic, but she modeled boss energy. She modeled being alpha. She modeled it. I wouldn't agree with everything she did and the way she did it because I have different values. My mom was such a survivor and she was like, I'm going to win no matter what. I'm a little different from my mom. I'm much more of a Sigma, but she was the alpha, and which is fine. And I brought this up because on sales call, I felt really safe growing up with the boss mom. She was a little scary at times. I was like afraid of her, but I felt safe when she drove the car. I felt safe when she had a plan, when she told me you're going to take the plan and you're going to move to California without me because she was getting cancer treatments in France. And my sister and I moved to the United States without her. I was 13. My sister was 16. I still felt safe because my mom had a plan. She had the plan. Like she always had a plan. When I was 5 years old and I fell off my little pony, it was my first horseback riding experience. And I fell off the pony and I'm trying to be baby goddess and cry. She's like, she's on those bleachers watching. She goes, honey, get back on right now. And she probably didn't say it like that. She's like in French, get back on the horse. And I'm like, but I'm scared. Get back on the horse, right? She was the boss. And guess what? I ended up riding horses for the next 10 years, like a wild woman through the hills of Provence, bareback. And I have the sensation of being on a horse galloping down a green field with my arms wide open, my heart open, with my body holding onto the horse. I don't know how I had the strength to hold on. And they're like galloping as fast as possible. We have no helmets. This is the 80s, like 90s. We're just like two sisters through Provence in the south. Like she gave me that gift. So when you can channel your boss, she'll take you to the moon. She'll take you to places you never thought was possible because the boss makes you feel safe. She just makes you feel so safe in your body, okay? It's the same sensation when you're with a man who's like, I got you, babe. I got you. my fiance makes me feel that way. Like when I'm with him, he has the plan. He's got the plan. Like I have no wobbly with him. So I said yes because I know he's the boss. When I'm with him, he's the boss. But when I'm with me, I'm the boss. So I want you guys to feel safe in your body with you, like with you and your business. So yesterday when I was walking through the Grove and I'm about to get a new computer and a new phone, and usually like depending on my season, I can feel a little wobbly about dropping another 2,000 on electronics, which is not that much money. But yesterday I noticed that as I've been channeling my boss more, because I also dropped 3K last week on this business thing. So anyway, there's like, money coming out. For the business to grow. And I noticed the difference between last week and this week is that because I've been more in the boss, I felt so safe, like so safe. And it's the same safety I felt when I was with my mom. When she would drive her black Mercedes through Paris or wherever, I was like, my mom's got me. Like, I don't know why, but I just feel safe because she's got the plan and she's the boss. Does that make sense? And I think as women, we emanate that energy even when we're walking down the street in a dark alley. Like, no one fucks with you. You're the boss. So I've lived through very sketchy places. Like I used to go to Tijuana when I was 16 because I lived in San Diego, and we would all I'd go down in a car full of dudes to party and dance because I was 16, but I used to dance in nightclubs in France at a really young age. So when I was 16 in the States, I'm like, I can't go out anymore. It was really strange. And I wasn't a big drinker, but I loved dancing. So they would take me to Tijuana as a little blonde, blue-eyed little girl. How did I ever come back from that? I think I walked with this boss vibe, like no one fucks with me. Just don't dare. And when people try to steal my luggage in the French metro, they walk away from me, they're scared. That's all I'm gonna say. They're just scared. I either tell them something and it just does something to their psychology, but I just don't fuck with me. That's the boss. And I think that would make us all a lot safer. And you need to model that. You need to model that in your business. You got to model that for your kids. You got to model that for your niece. Okay. And I'm still a very loving, caring earth angel. But yeah. So just one last thing I want to tell you is I did open a new Facebook group called You Are a Healer, because Spirit's been asking me to do this for like 2 weeks. And yesterday we were live. Literally, I caught this live in my group. We were live and I was playing with the cards and we were picking cards, okay? And all of a sudden I'm doing this, I'm shuffling, right? And one card comes out just like this one just came out. Time to play. Okay, I'll read it in a minute. And the card that came out was literally this one. And I had been told by Spirit, you got to open the group. And the one card that comes out, it says, you are a healer. So I'm like, okay, it's time that I open this Facebook group. So I just opened it yesterday when I was at the Grove after I was like buying my new computer and iPhone. And I just was like, okay, it's time. But I want to tell you something about being a healer. In French, the word healer is guérisseur or guérisseuse. In French, the Latin word, like the root word for warrior, is guerrier. So healer is guérisseur, and warrior is guerrier. It's almost the same word. And I made a reel on TikTok last year and it got like a bunch of views and 70 likes within hours. And I don't get that many likes on TikTok. I'm not an influencer, but 70 was huge because I usually get 2. And it was all, you guys can go check it out, but it was all about healers aren't nice. Like, I don't know why. I don't know where people thought that healers had to be this Maid pushover, overgiving archetypes. Like, what the hell? Jesus wasn't nice. Jesus was not nice. Jesus told people to leave the room because they were non-believers. Jesus yelled at his mother, Mother Mary, when she said, please turn water into wine, make more bread. He yelled at her to leave and say, don't tell me what to do. We don't create transformation and change in the world. We don't get Disneyland to have at least 50% female heroes, because right now we've got 0. We've got poor little crazy Alice in Wonderland attraction. We don't get that transformation by being nice, you guys. We just don't do that. And I'm not a very successful healer by being nice. Like, I just don't know where people got that. Just so you know, I curse, I say the F word, I say the S word. And I think my son respects me for that, and he's looks up to me. And every time we hang up the phone, even if he calls me in 5 minutes, he goes, Je t'aime, maman. Je t'aime, maman. Je t'aime, maman. My son still loves me, even though I parented tough. Like, I'm like my mom, get off, like, you fall off the horse, get back on. She didn't even ask me if I was okay. Get back on. But guess what? When we moved to California, like, we felt safe moving across the world as young little teenagers. And when she died, it was devastating, and I grieved for decades, but I was like the boss. I graduated from UCLA with honors as an orphan with no parents left, having to work. So it's not going to harm you to channel this energy. It's going to help you to tap into this boss. You're going to make more money. You're going to keep your money, and you're going to be like, hey, this is who I am. So we don't coach on discovery calls because you've got to be the boss to make the plan. You got to make people feel safe, and people buy based on how they felt when they were on the call with you. They don't buy because of what you say. So if you say, oh, you're going to get 32 PDFs and 32 audios and we're going to talk. No. What? Okay, how do I work with you? Oh, we talk every week and you get WhatsApp support. And we do this for 12 weeks or 16. Okay, how much is it? It's $3,000 for 3 months. That's it. And then there's a very long pause and you don't say a word. So that, I'm just saying that because I saw a post in a group earlier of like, how much sample coaching should I give in a discovery call? And I'm like, for all that is good and holy, this is what I wrote. For all that is good and holy, do not coach. Do not give sample coaching sessions, please. I can go into that later, but people do not buy because they sample your work. People buy based on how you make them feel during the call. And if you have a solid plan and you're like, here's the deal, I'm going to be honest with you, you're here and you want to be here and you've tried all these things and they haven't worked, and this staying here is costing you much more money than it is going to cost you to work with me. You got to be like a normal, this is logical. I mean, it's not even emotional, it's logical, right? So anyway, oh my gosh, so much. So please check out the PDF, there's only one. Below. It kind of details the vibe of the next 3 days we're going to do together. And if you want, I can throw in the extra video I made yesterday about the boss when I was coaching my clients that were on the call. And that's when I pulled the card of You Are a Healer. Join the Facebook group. It's free. You can find it at facebook.com/group/You Are a Healer. I got the URL. And I'm going to hopefully have a theme for each day. We're going to focus on certain things each day. I'll be in there reading energy. I'll be in there doing card readings. I'll be in there channeling angels. If you guys just met me, I started out as my spiritual goddess name is Danielle Dove, and I was Danielle Dove for 7 years, and all I did was channel Archangel Jophiel for 7 years, and I was a lot. I was this soft-spoken, powerful healer, and sometimes I channel her again. And she's incredible. And I just made a 22 audio meditation series that's like a 7 to 10 minute per audio. And it's all about downloading codes into your DNA and your core level, your history level, your DNA. So, okay, let me say one last thing before I have to go. There's a difference between being self-employed, working for yourself, and having a vision and a legacy and a plan and doing it from being the CEO and the boss. The reason I'm still in business 20 years later, which is insane to me, it's because I had this heart mission to be of service to women and help women overcome their pain body and overcome the fear of poverty, the fear of struggling. I saw my mother become devastated when my dad died. She got breast cancer within 6 months and died within 7 years. So I got 7 years with her before she died, but still, it was not the prettiest 7 years. I watched the woman I love the most die of cancer, which is a very slow, painful death. If you guys have ever seen that, they stop eating the last 3 months and they're like on morphine, and you know, I was hoping she'd get up. I was hoping she'd get better, because the thing with cancer patients is they do bounce back sometimes for months and then they fall back. And so you're in this like very traumatic, like, is she going to be up when I come home from school, or is she still in bed not eating, you know? And you kind of have hope till the last minute. And it's not something I wish on anybody ever. It's a really painful way to watch your parent go, especially when you're young. But she stayed with me after. Right away I felt her. I was clairsentient already, and she helped me develop my psychic and medium ability because I wanted to stay in touch with her. She was there. She was like very bossy still as a spirit. She would talk to me through numbers. Her number is 22247. I would randomly order lunch, and out of all the numbers, I would get number 47 7 days in a row. You know, when I worked and I was going to UCLA, I would all of a sudden look at my car odometer and it was 22247. You know, it was like, how does that happen? I would hit, like in my electric car recently, I bought a brand new electric car in France, and I think I was like, I hit 222 miles on it at like 2:47 p.m. Like some crazy stuff like that, where you're like, how does that happen? So you guys know, angels speak to us through numbers. And my mom stayed with me for a long time, until as a healer, I was like, Mom, you got to go. Like, it's time to go. You go up to God, you go back to school up there. I sent her back to a higher space. I took her to the light. So as a medium, I take people to the light when they've passed on and they don't go to God. I make them go to God. It's one of my gifts that I'm able to do for when people, like, friends have haunted houses sometimes, and they call me and they're like, because you know, in France there's a lot of haunted houses from World War II, and they're like, can you please come over? Can you please take him to the light? So that's one of the things I do in France when my friends invite me to their mansions. I take unfortunately some dead people to the light. Not all the time. Sometimes I leave them there, but most of the time I do. And I do communicate with people who are on the other side. It's something that's quite easy to do. And the reason I'm saying that is because I did take her to the light, and she became a really much more healed, amazing, filled with light goddess after that. And she's so much more like not an archangel, but like an angel now. She's evolved from the karma that she was still carrying as a human. So it's really beautiful. Okay. I went into that because I can't remember now, but it's okay. All right, loves. Time to play. On the calls coming up for 3 days, I'm also going to show you how to have more motivation, less procrastination, more motivation through dopamine instead of hustle, and how to create dopamine in your business in order to have more results and more motivation and more momentum. Cool. And I have a special right now where anything you purchase for the next couple months, you get to reuse and repurpose as credit towards another program. So if you're like, oh, I want to do the $100 3-day, and then I do something that's 1,000, or I do something that's 5,000, then you can reuse that $100 towards it. And then if you want to do the $1,000 thing, and then later on I do something that's 5K, then you can repurpose the 1,000 towards the 5K offer. So that's something I'm doing probably for like the next 3 months or something. So that's fun too. Okay. The boss knows how to sell. The boss knows how to hold people through their transformation. And the boss doesn't waver or has doubt, but it's okay to be wobbly. It's okay to not hold it all the time. Like, there's going to be moments when I'm literally not in my boss all the time. I'm in my inner teenager with my son. Like, it's ridiculous. The other day, someone thought I was his sister, not his mother, because I was so playful with him. And when I'm with my man, I'm like the goddess incarnate. I'm like I'm a rose. That's all I can say. I'm like this like goddess when I'm with my man. And when I have to be the badass, I'm the badass. When I'm the goddess, I'm the goddess. Okay. So, yes, thank you for this. I hope this was helpful. If you want the audio, it will be available as a thank you bonus for being the first 10 people to sign up for the 3-day masterclass. And I'm also going to give the new Aura Sovereignty Kit, which is how you stay sovereign over your energy. You remove entities, you stop feeling drained, you stop overgiving, you call your freaking energy back, and you channel light through your body. This is how I look young at 42. It's because of the light work. I just turned 42, you guys. All right. So for 3 days, we're going to create your glass jar. It's going to be solid. We're going to do subconscious work, energy work, mindset work. It's going to be intense, powerful, and beautiful. You get to keep the recordings forever, probably, most likely, I think. Yeah. And then your creativity, your offers get to be held in something that is confident and that can hold you. Good. I love you. Thank you. Let me check the comments because I've been ignoring the comments. Let me go on the website to see if anyone said hello. Oh, bonjour. I am engaged. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. He took me ring shopping, you guys. And he's like, let's go ring shopping because he wanted to help me pick the ring. So I'm like, oh, well, if we're going to go ring shopping, we're obviously going to go to Cartier because I'm so Parisian. And we went to Cartier, and that's the rings my mother used to wear. And it's also the ring my father bought his first wife. So my half sister, when her mom died and my dad died, she gave me the rings of her mother. So I had all these Cartier rings and they were stolen a couple of years ago. So I had everything for 20 years. I had all these Cartier rings and then they were stolen. So when we walked into Cartier and I tried these Cartier rings, I was like, I am so not ready for this. Like, I am not ready. So, and I hadn't even said yes. So Oliver asked me to marry him when he was here, and I completely ignored him because I was like, I'm in LA, you're in Belgium, you're cute, you can come visit me, we can have fun, but like go home. Like I'm not moving back to Europe. I was so in my badass, and I didn't even answer him. So he had to ask me again. You guys, I highly recommend it. Because when you test a guy, and I don't mean to test him, this was me being completely clean and authentic in my own truth. But I was like, dude, I love you. I mean, it's nice, but we're not like, this isn't happening. So when he invited me to France for 3 weeks, he was like, well, let me come with us. We're going skiing. Let me fly you out. And and I was like, no, I'm not flying to France to go skiing. I have things to do. And then my heart was like, okay, I kind of really want to go. So I went, and he asked me again to marry him. And I didn't answer because I was like, I don't know. This doesn't feel like a sacral yes. You know, I was waiting for a sacral yes. So in the midst of these 2 engagements, he took me ring shopping and I was like, no way, we're not buying a ring. Like, this is insane. I don't wear rings except for my grandmother's ring. This is the only one I wear. And so it's been a couple months. I don't know what, like a month and a half. That I'm leaning into the possibility of going ring shopping, and I'm still not sure I want to ring, you guys, so we'll see. But I finally said yes when it felt like a true sacral yes. Anyway, that's my engagement story. And but the most important part of this engagement story is the part where I told him there would be no exclusivity before 6 months. And I really want you guys, if you haven't heard that yet, watch the beginning because I go into why I said there's no exclusivity for the first 6 months. And I was very clean about it. It wasn't like wobbly. It was like, listen, because I don't know about American guys, but French guys, they ask women to be exclusive like within 1 or 2 dates. They're like, oh, so we're together, right? We're a couple. No, we're not a couple. I don't know you. Like, go away. Don't call me every day. So it took me a long time to learn that, to have that boundary with men. All right, my loves, I hope this was entertaining and helpful. And just so you know, you get to stay a beautiful little powerful human. I'm still a girl, I'm still me, even though I can channel these higher frequencies. And what's fun is then I get to go off and play, and I'm going to drive an electric scooter to this coffee shop where I'm meeting someone in 20 minutes. Okay, I gotta go. And I get to be silly, and I get to play basketball with my son, and then I get to also do this powerful work. So I think that's like, let's do this. If you're in the planet right now and you're not fully embodying all these frequencies, like freaking do this, because look how lucky we are. We have technology. I had a business before iPhones existed. iPhones came out in 2007. Do you know how hard it was to do business in 2005? You had to call people. You had to like go meet them. It was so hard. You had to like, I had no smartphone. I mean, I had to figure out where people were and use MapQuest, or like I had to have a road thing in my car to look at the maps. You guys, I had to build my own website, like on WordPress. Not even, it was like on this it was so hard. So you guys, you just go on Canva now and can create something in minutes. I had to pay people to do everything back then. It was insane. I couldn't even record things without, like, You guys, do it. Like, this is your time. Literally, like, this is the era of women rising together in sisterhood and community. We have everything. We have Canva, we have YouTube. You have Facebook Live. Like, you can reach your people. You have free, almost free education online. Harvard is giving out free classes. Like, this is your time. If you don't do this now, when are you going to do it? You get ChatGPT. Oh my God. Oh my God. Things are so much easier now. So, thank you for being here. I love you. This was my gift to all of us. You do not need to buy anything from me to enjoy this, but if you do want more, there's more coming up. I'll do more readings in the private groups we're going to be in because I don't want to read people too much online. It's so public right now. So, but if I read you in the private Zoom, then, you know, I can get in there a little bit more. All right. Love you guys. I gotta run. Thank you, thank you, thank you.